What's up, guys? For those of you who are still having doubts and debate about um, Americans' weaponry versus China or Russia's weaponry, uh, I mean, the uh, recent activities has shown the quality of U.S. training and weapons over Chinese and Russia. And I'm not saying these countries are not trying, and sometimes it makes me surprised when people question or want to think that China has the quality of weapons that the United States have. There is no doubt the superiority of the United States as far as weapon far advanced than any other country on earth. Let's just say the way it is. Chinese are trying. They're trying to catch up. Um, Russia has theirs from time, but never nothing close to what the United States have. Let's be very factual. You know, I'm sure Maduro thought he has all the protection. Because the Chinese, the Russians were propping him up and telling him, "Oh, we got your back covered, and you can," But you see how easy the United States dealt with that. So it, it's just very clear that the United States has the best weapon, the best training, the best manpower. It's for me, China and the United States is more or less quality over quantity. You know, the Chinese will make a phone and it looks like a Apple so good. It looks even more fancier than the Apple. But when you begin to use the two phones, you will realize, yes, maybe at the initial stage, both may perform in comparison, but over time, you see the quality over quantity. I've seen vehicles made by China. Even I'm talking about outside of weapons. Originally, when I was back in Africa, the Chinese would make a Toyota Hiace, Toyota Hilux that looks like the Hilux or the Hiace, but put through the roads, you will have you would have used 3, 4 Chinese version, while the original Toyota is still running perfectly. You know, after 6 months of usage, you will realize the difference between quantity over quantity, or quantity over quality. You know, so basically, what I'm saying here is that there is no comparison between the two. And I'm not saying the 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 Chinese are not trying. They're really trying. I'm one of those who actually advocated for in support and praise of the Chinese, because let's call it what it is. If the Chinese were not involved in the area of cell phone, a lot of Africans wouldn't have even have access to cell phone at the very early stage. Because think about it, a Samsung phone costs at the release point, they cost close to a million naira in Nigeria. Meanwhile, a Chinese version of it probably costs like 60, 70, 80, 100,000, less than 10% of that. So the Chinese coming in, or the Chinese has a place in human life. The Chinese productivity has a place. I'm not saying anything wrong about that. I'm just saying there is no comparison between the two. Like quality and quantity, those are two different things. You know, without the Chinese, for sure, at the very beginning, like in the early 2000, a lot of Nigerians wouldn't have even have access to cell phone. But thank goodness the Chinese have their products, although low in quality, but provided access to the usage of cell phone. So that's a good thing. There is no doubt about it, because not every Nigerian has Not every African has the capability and the financial capability to buy the original Samsung, the original Apple phone. No, even the used ones of those are still very, very expensive. So the Chinese did a lot of good to humanity by coming in with their product, though cheap, but still provided access to communication. So that's that. I'm just uh, kind of want to talk about this because I often hear people talk about, oh, China has this weapon, and yeah, you know, in reality, as far as weapons, maybe other things, but as far as weapons are concerned, the United States is at a different level. It's a different spectrum. So I'm sure if you have any doubt up till now, then you're not watching what's happening. You're not paying close attention to what's happening in our world. You know, the United States has over the years demonstrated that look, we have the superiority when it comes to training, when it comes to weapons, when it comes to manpower. You know, we the United States has the upper hand over all other nations on earth. You know, so that's super obvious. That's super obvious. So, and I'm pretty sure all the other nations that keep bragging. Usually, Iran was always bragging. Oh, we did. But the United States went in there, bombed them, left. Nothing happened. And I'm pretty sure if they had won, if their goal was to eradicate the leadership at that point, they would have done that easily as well, and nothing would have happened. I'm just stating it. So that tells you the superiority, the power of the United States over all these other nations. And I think when a nation is that powerful, the only way to walk around that is compromise, a dialogue, find a way to work with the United States other than this grandstanding and bragging and little talks. Those little talks don't save nobody when the real fight start. The little talk don't help no nation when the real fight start. But anyway, this is my opinion. Feel free to express your thoughts and opinion in the comment section. And do not forget to like and subscribe to this channel. We're growing. We're growing. We're talking about issues, and the whole idea is to have a free space for dialogue, a free space for expressing one's opinion. And I will cherish your opinion through the comments. Either you agree or disagree with me, fine. But feel free to comment. Feel free to share. Thank you. Love you. Bye bye.